Korean truce village of Panmunjom.
This historic encounter comes amid stalled nuclear negotiations between North Korea and the U.S. since the collapse of the Hanoi summit in February. For reasons we cannot verify, but according to speculations, they say Kim Jong-un wasn't quite ready to strike a deal with the U.S. And also we saw many reports that U.S. President Trump was not content about the offer Kim Jong-un has made, and that is why the summit fell apart. We can see U.S. President Donald Trump walking out of the Panmunjom.
He is coming out of the building in the South Korean side of the inter-Korean truce village of Panmunjom called the House of Freedom, and now he is walking towards the inter-Korean land border. And now we're getting a footage of the North Korean building called Panmun Hall, and that is exactly the place where South Korean President Moon Jae-in and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un met for the first time last year in April, where they shook hands and where South Korean President Moon briefly stepped into the North Korean part of the territory. So the footage is now being, physically blocked by North Korean guards, and the camera is now only filming the ground. But now we're getting the picture of it. We're seeing Trump and Kim Jong-un coming down to the land border.
There we see it, the historic, the colossal, phenomenal encounter between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and U.S. President Trump. This comes amid U.S. President Trump's second state visit to South Korea. They have now walked across the military demarcation line over to the North Korean side. Right. And this is historic, as it marks the first time ever for a U.S. president to step on North Korean soil. U.S. President Trump has just crossed the military demarcation line over to the North Korean side of the border, along with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. They have exchanged a few words, briefly shook hands, and now we are trying to listen in to the audio, but the audio is we're not getting a clear sound at the moment. Truly. Come on. Now this time, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has crossed over to the southern side of the military demarcation. This is truly interesting to watch, isn't it, Dr. Go and Tony? This is following President Moon and Kim Jong-un's historic encounter last year. This is by far the most interesting, phenomenal, historic moment in the making right now. President Trump walked much further into North Korean territory than South Korean President Moon did in April last year, and then they came back down to the South Korean territory, and now we're seeing Kim Jong-un standing in the South Korean side of the inter-Korean truce village of Panmunjom, standing together with U.S. President Donald Trump for a photo op in front of South Korea's Freedom House.
President Trump has just walked across the demarcation line that made him the first U.S. president to visit our country.
이 행동 자체만 보시지 말고 이 부분에 대해서 우리 넘어오는 자치하는 그 각오를 청산하고 앞으로 좋은 앞날을 개척하는 그런 대통령의 그 남다른 영단의 그 필요성이라고 생각합니다.
I believe, just looking at this action, this is an expression of his willingness to eliminate all the unfortunate past and open a new future.
I just want to say that this is my honor. I didn't really expect it. We were in Japan for the G20. We came over and I said, hey, I'm over here. I want to call Chairman Kim.
and we got to meet, and stepping across that line was a great honor. A lot of progress has been made. A lot of friendships have been made, and this has been in particular a great friendship. So I just want to thank you. That was very quick notice, and I want to thank you.
내가 G20에 왔다가 한국에 오게 되니까 그런데 김 위원장한테 전화를 하고 연락을 해서 한번 만나야 되겠다라고 했습니다. 그러니까 오랜 생각을 하지 않았는데도 즉각 제 대단히 감사합니다. 지금까지 아주 엄청난 많은 진전을 이루었다고 생각합니다. 그리고 영광입니다.
So we're going to go inside. We're going to talk for a little while about different things, and a lot of really positive things are happening, and I'm glad you could be here to see it. But tremendous positivity. Really great things are happening, and in a lot of places. But we met and we liked each other from day one, and that was very important.
이따가 우리가 시간을 보내서 서로 얘기를 좀 할 예정입니다. 지금까지는 대단한 그러한 진전을 이루었고 우리는 서로 만나자마자 아주 느낌이 좋았습니다. 그리고 서로 좋아하고 있습니다. 아마 더 많은 진전을 이룰 수 있을 것 같습니다.
Thank you, everybody.
Will you invite him to visit the U.S.?
I would invite him right now.
Is that possible?
The White House. Absolutely.
Guys, back. Stay behind me. Behind me. She's okay.
Hey, more back. When the time is right, and President Trump has just Pyongyang will leave a great mark in the political history of the world. Such day will come.
What am I going to do? Come here. I'm going to come.
Thank you. I think it is historic. It's a great day for a lot of people. It's a great day really for the world. If you think about it. Beyond North Korea, South Korea, it's a great day for the world, and it's an honor for me to be here. Thank you both very much.
Stop it. Back up. Stop. Leave me alone. Stop it. Stop.
More space.
Back up.
Thank you all. I have to say that when I first became president of the United States, there was great conflict in this area, great conflict, and now we have just the opposite. And it's my honor, it's the chairman's honor, to say we work well together. And Mr. President, thank you.
Having such a
So history has been made. We just saw U.S. President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un shake their hands and exchange a short conversation at the military demarcation line, while also with U.S. President also crossing the demarcation line over to the North Korean side, stepping on North Korean soil for the first time for a U.S. president to do so. And then North Korean leader Kim Jong-un also crossed the border to the south for their three-way meeting that is now taking place in the border village of Panmunjom. The audio sound wasn't that loud and clear, but we could hear that the three leaders, the leaders of the two Koreas and the U.S., will hold a three-way meeting in the border village of Panmunjom. This is certainly a historic day for all of us here in Korea. I have seen nothing like this before. Now, Dr. Ko, how did you see all this? This is a bit overwhelming for me.
Well, it is quite shocking. I mean, first of all, as an expert in national security and foreign policy, this is actually quite interesting to see how a meeting like this, a three-way meeting between the leaders of major countries like the three involved here, can happen in just a snap of a finger. I mean, as if, President Trump himself has explained how this meeting came about. He essentially said that he was coming to the neighborhood in a G20 meeting in Japan, and South Korea is just 1 hour away from Japan. He essentially decided to call his dear friend Kim Jong-un for a brief meeting. I mean, this is actually amazing in many ways. But then the question here is whether this meeting, this like a three-way encounter, is going to lead to a substantial discussion of the stalled negotiation agenda. And I think the substantial part of it is going to take place not only from the cameras as we have seen so far, but behind the doors on the Korean side.
So just to give our viewers a recap of what we just saw in the inter-Korean truce village of Panmunjom, it was first U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un meeting at the inter-Korean land border at the military demarcation line. So they first met, they shook hands. U.S. President Trump crossed into the north. They walked towards the Panmun Hall in the North Korean territory. They crossed back into the south, and in the South Korean territory, South Korean President Moon Jae-in joined them, and the three leaders of South Korea, North Korea, and the United States stood all together and exchanged hellos. They said hellos to each other, and they exchanged messages of welcome. Now, we couldn't hear loudly and clearly about what the leaders of Pyongyang and Washington spoke, but what I heard, and we are now receiving a live feed of the Freedom House, which is located in the South Korean territory of the truce village of Panmunjom. That's the building that Trump and Kim and Moon, the three leaders, walked into after they had a short encounter at the area near the military demarcation line. So obviously, Kim Jong-un said when they were having that short encounter, Kim Jong-un said that they are willing to eliminate the hostility, the hostile past, and willing to open up a new future with the U.S. And Trump emphasized that it's a great honor to cross the border into the north. He stressed that a lot of positive things are happening on the Korean Peninsula, and he also said that he is to talk with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un for a while. And after that, the three leaders of Seoul, Washington, and Pyongyang walked into the Freedom House in the South Korean territory of Panmunjom. We have the flags. We're seeing the flags of North Korea and the U.S. lined up in a room in the Freedom House.
Dr. Go, as we all know, it takes weeks, if not months, to arrange a summit like this. And the location of an inter-Korean summit, or a summit between North Korea and the U.S., holds high significance.
And also, the place of our meeting is special. That is why it draws the attention of so many people.
어떤 사람들은 일부에서는 대통령께서 보내신 친서를 내가 보면서 미리 사전에 합의된 방안이 아닌가 이런 말들도 하던데, 사실 난 어제 아침에 대통령께서 그런 의향을 표시하신 걸 보고 나 역시 깜짝 놀랐고, 중심으로 오늘 여기서 만날 걸 제안하시는 말씀을 오후 늦은 시간에야 이렇게 알게 됐습니다.
Some people think as if this meeting was pre-arranged through the letters you have sent to me. But myself was surprised yesterday morning when you expressed the willingness to meet with me here, and also when we got the official confirmation late yesterday afternoon.
예, 나도 아빠를 다시 만나고 싶어.
And I wanted to meet again. And I believe that meeting here,
분단의 상징이고,
which is a symbol of division, and is a symbol of the hostile past, I believe that meeting here, two countries who have a hostile past, I think we are showcasing to the world that we have a new present, and this is showcasing to the world that we have a positive meeting going forward, and all of the behaviors and actions that we will take forward will also have an effect.
And this place of our meeting is a symbol of the separation between the North and the South, and also a reminder of unfortunate past. And as the two countries which share a long unfortunate past, being at such a place shows that we are willing to put an end to the unfortunate past and also open a new future and provide peace.
우리 아빠와 나와 사이에 존재하는 그런 훌륭한
The
관계가
great
아니라면
relationship
아마
between President Trump and I, if we did not have such great relationship, I don't believe that this meeting could have taken place in just a day. And I hope that this relationship will progress going forward so that we can make great achievements
난관과 장애를
and overcome any kind of challenges that we may encounter going forward.
힘으로 될 거라고 확신합니다.
If it was not for our excellent relation between the two of us, it would not have been possible to have this kind of opportunity. So I would like to use this strong relation to create more good news, which nobody expects in the past, and also to propel the good relationship with our country.
Well, I want to thank you, Chairman. You hear the power of that voice. Nobody's heard that voice before. He doesn't do news conferences, in case you haven't heard. And this was a special moment. And this is, I think, really, as President Moon said, this is a historic moment, the fact that we're meeting. And I want to thank Chairman Kim for something else. When I put out the social media notification, if he didn't show up, the press was going to make me look very bad. So you made us both look good, and I appreciate it. But we've developed a great relationship. I really think that if you go back 2.5 years and you look at what was going on prior to my becoming president, it was a very, very bad situation, a very dangerous situation for South Korea, for North Korea, for the world. And I think the relationship that we've developed has meant so much to so many people. And it's just an honor to be with you, and it was an honor that you asked me to step over that line, and I was proud to step over the line. I thought you might do that. I wasn't sure, but I was ready to do it, and I want to thank you. It's been great. It's been great. Very historic. They were just saying, one of the folks from the media was saying this could be a very historic moment, and I guess that's what it is. But I enjoy being with you, and thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, guys, back out the door, please. Back out the door. Thanks. Straight up back. Straight back out, guys. Thank you. Straight back out. Thanks. Go ahead. Straight, I got your clap. Straight, I got your clap.
There we could see a brief encounter between visiting U.S. President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. I still cannot believe my eyes that the two were actually in the same room, shaking hands, exchanging a brief conversation. This historic encounter came in just, as you've mentioned, Dr. Go, at the slap of a finger. At the blink of an eye. To me, this is quite phenomenal because it normally takes weeks, if not months, to arrange such a meeting. But Kim Jong-un has just stated that there were no pre-arrangements and that he heard the news of Trump's impromptu, if you will, invitation of Kim Jong-un late afternoon yesterday. What does this